Look at yourself first before blaming others. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that can completely change your life if you really understand it. We are going to discuss why looking at yourself first before blaming others is one of the most powerful life lessons you can ever learn. This is not just another self-help topic. This is about taking real control of your life and your happiness. Let me start with a story. There was a man who worked at an office and he was always frustrated. He complained about his boss being unfair. He said his co-workers were lazy. He blamed the company for not giving him enough opportunities. He went home every day angry and stressed. His wife would ask him about his day and he would spend hours talking about how everyone else was the problem. This went on for years. One day his wife asked him a simple question. She said, "What if the problem is not them but how you react to them?" The man got angry at first. He said, "You do not understand what I go through every day." But that night he could not sleep. He kept thinking about what his wife said. The next morning he decided to try something different. Instead of focusing on what his boss did wrong, he focused on how he could do his job better. Instead of complaining about his co-workers, he started helping them more. Within a few months everything changed. His boss started noticing his positive attitude. His co-workers began to respect him more. He got a promotion that he had been wanting for years. The interesting thing is that the people around him did not really change much. What changed was how he responded to them. When he stopped blaming others and started looking at himself first, his whole life improved. This story teaches us something very important. Most of the time when we have problems with other people, we focus on changing them. We think if only they would be different, then we would be happy. But here's the truth. You cannot control other people. You can only control yourself. When you spend your energy trying to change others, you waste your time and make yourself frustrated. But when you focus on changing yourself, amazing things happen. First, you actually have power to make changes because you are in control of your own actions and thoughts. Second, when you change your behavior, other people often respond differently to you. Third, even if other people do not change, you become stronger and happier because you are not depending on them for your peace of mind. Let me give you another example. Think about road rage. When someone cuts you off in traffic, what is your first reaction? Most people get angry and blame the other driver. They think that person is selfish or stupid. But what if you looked at yourself first? Maybe you are running late because you did not plan your time well. Maybe you were already stressed about something else and this small thing made you explode. Maybe you have done the same thing to other drivers before without thinking about it. When you look at yourself first, you might realize that getting angry does not help anyone. It just makes you feel worse and ruins your day. You might decide to leave home earlier next time. You might practice being more calm and understanding. You might remember that everyone makes mistakes while driving. This does not mean you excuse bad behavior from others. It means you take responsibility for your own reaction. Here is another situation that happens to many people. You have a friend who always cancels plans at the last minute. You feel hurt and angry. Your first thought might be, this person does not respect me or care about our friendship. You might decide to end the friendship or give them the silent treatment. But what if you looked at yourself first? Maybe you chose to be friends with someone who has always been unreliable and you ignored the signs. Maybe you did not communicate clearly how important these plans were to you. Maybe you have canceled plans with other people before and did not think about how it made them feel. Maybe you need to set better boundaries in your relationships. When you look at yourself first, you have options. You can talk to your friend honestly about how you feel. You can decide if this friendship is worth keeping with better boundaries. You can learn to make backup plans so you're not disappointed. You can work on not taking things so personally. All of these choices give you power to improve the situation. The same thing applies to family relationships. Many people spend years being angry at their parents for mistakes they made in the past. They blame their parents for their current problems. While it is true that parents can make serious mistakes that affect their children, staying angry about it for years only hurts you. It does not change the past and it does not help you build a better future. Looking at yourself first means asking, what can I do now to heal and grow? How can I break negative patterns that I learned from my family? What kind of parent or family member do I want to be? How can I forgive not because they deserve it but because I deserve peace? These questions put the power back in your hands. At work, this principle is incredibly powerful. Instead of complaining about your boss or coworkers, ask yourself what you can do to improve the situation. Maybe you need to communicate more clearly. Maybe you need to develop new skills. Maybe you need to set better boundaries. Maybe you need to find a different job that fits you better. All of these are actions you can take instead of just complaining. Some people worry that looking at yourself first means you are letting other people get away with bad behavior. This is not true. You can still stand up for yourself and set boundaries. You can still hold people accountable for their actions. The difference is that you do it from a place of strength rather than blame and anger. When you are always blaming others, you give them power over your emotions and your life. When you look at yourself first, you keep that power for yourself. You become the author of your own story instead of just reacting to what others do. Let me share some practical ways to apply this in your daily life. First, when you feel upset about something someone did, take a few deep breaths before reacting. Ask yourself, what part of this situation is within my control? What can I learn from this? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? Second, start noticing when you complain about others. Every time you catch yourself blaming someone else, try to find at least one thing you could do differently. This does not mean the other person is not wrong. It just means you are taking responsibility for your part. Third, practice apologizing when you make mistakes. This is hard for many people because they think it makes them look weak. Actually, it makes you look strong and mature. When you can admit your mistakes, you show that you are more interested in solving problems than in being right. Fourth, work on your communication skills. Many conflicts happen because of misunderstandings. When you learn to express yourself clearly and listen carefully to others, you can prevent many problems before they start. Fifth, set healthy boundaries. You cannot control what others do, but you can control what you accept in your life. If someone consistently treats you badly, you can limit your contact with them or end the relationship. This is taking responsibility for your own well-being. Sixth, practice empathy. Try to understand why other people act the way they do. This does not mean you excuse bad behavior, but understanding others can help you respond more wisely. Often people who hurt others are dealing with their own pain or problems. Seventh, focus on your own growth. Instead of spending energy trying to change others, invest that energy in becoming the person you want to be. Read books, learn new skills, work on your health, build positive habits. When you are growing and improving yourself, you have less time and energy to waste on blaming others. Remember that this is not about being perfect or never getting upset with others. We are all human and we all make mistakes. The goal is to develop the habit of looking at yourself first most of the time. Even if you can do this just 50% of the time, your life will improve dramatically. This way of thinking also helps you in your career. Employers value people who take responsibility and look for solutions instead of just complaining about problems. If you want to advance in your career, become known as someone who focuses on what they can control and contribute rather than someone who always blames others. In relationships, this principle builds trust and respect. When people see that you are willing to look at your own mistakes and work on improving yourself, they are more likely to do the same. This creates a positive cycle where everyone is focused on growth rather than blame. The beautiful thing about taking responsibility for your own life is that it gives you hope. When you believe that your happiness depends on other people changing, you might wait forever. When you realize that your happiness depends on your own choices and actions, you can start improving your life right now. This does not mean you should accept abuse or mistreatment from others. There are situations where you need to protect yourself and get help. But in most daily conflicts and frustrations, looking at yourself first will serve you much better than blaming others. Think about the most successful and happy people you know. I bet they are people who take responsibility for their lives. They do not spend much time complaining about others or making excuses. They focus on what they can control and they keep moving forward even when things do not go their way. You have the power to be one of these people. You can choose to look at yourself first before blaming others. You can choose to focus on your own growth and responses rather than trying to control everyone around you. This choice will transform your relationships, your career, and your overall happiness. So I challenge you to try this for the next week. Every time you feel frustrated with someone else, take a moment to ask yourself what you can learn from the situation and what you can do differently. Do not worry about changing the other person. Focus on your own response and actions. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this message helps you take more control of your life and find more peace in your relationships. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content about personal growth and life lessons. Remember, the power to change your life is in your hands. You just need to look at yourself first before looking at others. See you in the next video.